like, let's say you're performing, you've created this world when you're on stage that is like completely you're essentially in control of, and all of the audience members are willing participants, and it's like a very specific dynamic. And to take yourself out of that and go into a setting where you have zero control and you're at the mercy of the waves and of nature, I mean, did you find that not just humbling, but is it intimidating, or do you find it refreshing?
I mean, definitely refreshing. I seek it out. I've been doing um, since about like 30 years old. I started like looking into hobbies and realizing that as much as I loved music, I needed to like give space to a lot of things in my life to allow myself to be like richer as a human. And in fact, I would be better at music if I did that. And so at first it was like that, like what you were saying. It's kind of annoying because you're starting from scratch again, and you love something but you're no good at it. And like you have to like you want to be good at it,
Yeah.
and but you start to realize everything, the window of getting really good is just it's kind of like a rhythm, and it becomes this small pocket. And it's everything from when I was riding motorcycles to when I was surfing, like, and the faster you want to go or the bigger the waves, the smaller the pocket gets. And it's just like playing guitar and the rhythm of like uniting your hands or as a band. And so it all, you start to realize everything in life has a very similar rhythm to it. You're just learning a new way to see it, and that keeps everything so fresh, and also allows you to come back with better understanding for what you're doing because of the similarities, but at the same time such an open mind because uh, it, it's different. It's not the same thing.
I mean, I think that's what's interesting about surfing because the learning curve is so difficult. I always love when people go, "Oh, I'm going to try surfing." And be like, that's like saying, like, "Oh, I'm going to go try karate." You know, it's a lifelong pursuit. It's very difficult, but because
Oh,
of
for
that,
sure.
there's always a level of incremental achievement, whether it's the first time you stand up or the first time you ride a wave of a certain height or cut back or whatever. So there's always these achievements, as opposed to, when you're performing, how do you keep it as fresh like that? I mean, do you find that there's like a conflict between when you're on stage, like, oh, I've done this song 1,000 times, and it's really like there's a sense of sameness, as opposed to surfing where it's like it's
Yes,
always different.
but if you look at anything in life like that, you're going to be jaded, and that's the trick with getting older. Is everything in life you start to notice, if you want to, is a repetition. And man, I got to get up again, I got to wash the plates again, I got to feed myself again. And so if you don't find either rituals in that, or you don't, get curious at how you can make things different, or also set you could play something a million times and be bored by it, or figure out little new things you can do with it, or ways you can get into you know when you play something a million times, so there's that drawback of, man, that's boring. There's also, because your body can be so relaxed doing it, you can get into like a zen like state, because you're like can pull back out of your body, and all of a sudden you're on stage, you're seeing all these people, you're playing, you're not even thinking about it. It doesn't, you don't even know what you're doing. And so you've just turned a song that you might be boring for you to play because you've played it a million times, and it's like there isn't that edge, and you've created a high from it. So I don't know if I can look at life like that in anything, because I wouldn't enjoy anything.
So you're saying, so when you're playing that, your solo from
Last
whatever
night.
song from last night, you're playing that, like, you've played that so many times that it's almost the muscle memory takes you from A to B, and you can actually like experience it and have new input that you wouldn't be able to if you're
I'm
really focused on the frets.
sure. I'm just saying you can look at it and be like, "Oh man, here we go, playing the song," and like look at it and just like be upset you have to play it, or you can look at it and take that moment that you know it so well to actually really be in the moment in something so ridiculously crazy of playing music in front of people that you've been doing for so long, and they're singing along to you. Like if you're too jaded to like have that hit your heart and your soul, then you have bigger problems than that. I mean, that if you really feel those moments, it's insane. It's a group of people all in the same moment. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. And it's not to be thrown away because you find the significance to be repetitive.
And let me ask you this: is that perspective? Is that something that comes from an evolved Albert, or is that something that you've always had since this band? Like, did you feel that way when you were 20, when you were having to tour?
Definitely not. I mean, I think when you're younger, you're running on different information. But um, no, I definitely did not think that when I was younger. Nor do I think I could have or should have. I think that's something you. I realized that I had to learn to make anything in life enjoyable for myself. Because I imagine if I made it till I was older, I wouldn't see. It's like the myth of Sisyphus having to. We're basically rolling up the rock every day so that it
Eternally,
rolls
yeah.
back down to roll it back up. And you can once you discover that, you can. I think that you can create a lot of things around it. It's like the idea that uh, you pull back enough out of this world and you realize that everything's kind of meaningless or so small and insignificant. But that's so cool because
In
it
turn, it
allows
gives
for
you meaning. Yeah.
yeah, you can create your own meaning. I mean, you can change. You don't have to be stuck in any pattern. Like everything is like there for you. So like this creates a freedom in knowing that. And I just thought that was important. I just felt like if I didn't practice that, that as I got older, I would just become a jaded asshole. And I don't feel like I want to be that. I don't want to have kids or look at a younger generation and be a jaded asshole.
And so, do you think surfing helped you move that needle forward?
I think all those things do for sure. I mean, being there, it's probably the only thing I've done that connects me in a physical way with nature. I felt it when I lived upstate, um, which I really liked. You started to understand the cycles of nature, and then when you're in the ocean, all waves are different. Uh, when just like I don't know, everything about. I'm goofy footed. I took my first left,
Me too.
and I'm not like by any means like I still have my pink foam board. Not mine's just pink. I don't know why I
Yeah.
said that as though like beginners don't use pink boards. Like all beginners must be on pink
Yeah, it's
boards.
like a pink belt, and you work your way up to a
Yeah,
whiteboard with
yeah,
stickers. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But like I took my first left and I was looking at the mountain in Malibu off Little Doom, and I, I was just like, oh, I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit! Everything stopped and made sense, and I was like, this force was pushing me. It was
It's magical. It's transcendent.
yeah, yeah. That's the whole thing is like how you describe magic. Do you want to? Because it's really like you experience it and it's fulfills you. And I don't think it needs to be figured out how to put into words so that someone else doesn't have to do it. I think it was the act of, you're nervous to go out. You don't know what's going on. You go out, you miss waves. You can't stand up. You fall over. A wave comes. You go underneath. You don't know what's happening. You go back and forth. All these emotions. Finally, one day you stand up right. You go left, and all of a sudden, like everything aligns, and you're like, I get it.
Yeah. You have a
But that
breakthrough.
only happens because of all the stuff you went through to get there.
But I think what's special about surfing is that from even if as difficult as it is, and as long as it takes to get good or decent at it, it's fun from the first moment. And I think that's different than a lot of things. And I know a lot of surfers, like from beginners to pros, and the people who most of the people who have the most fun tend to be more beginners, because the better you get, you start to like parse it's the wind's on it, the tide's 180 degrees swell, it should be 160, like, oh fuck, I think zeros is firing, but we're here, like.
Yeah.
And that's what's so special about it, is you see people who take a surfboard out for the first time and they get tumbled in the whitewash, and like maybe they kind of stand up with like this
Yeah.
funny ape butt stance, and they get out of the water and they're just fucking glowing.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's what happened to my wife. She just came out to like visit me. Someone brought her out, and